moving on to some football, because we're a couple of weeks away. Preseason kicked off last week, I want to say. And you mentioned a couple of weeks ago that this Khalil Mack situation in Oakland is crazy. And it is weird. It is weirder by the day. The longer and longer this thing stretches out. And now there are reports coming out that he may end up in Green Bay.
What?
Bruh,
Are you serious?
Yes.
First and foremost.
Green Bay?
Yeah, because there's a connection to the coaching staff or something I read that is a possible. I think it's the GM. I think the new GM in Green Bay. He was close to Khalil. I think he was part of the Oakland brass once they drafted him and everything. But here's the thing, man. Love John Gruden. Love him. Loved him as a coach. Loved him as a TV guy. I think I like him more as a TV guy than a coach now, because there's no way that you have a top 3 defensive player.
Right.
And maybe he's not the best defensive player overall. Maybe you can name some other guys. I'm not here to argue that. But I know he is top 3 pass rushing guys in the NFL. I know that for a fact. And there's no way in this NFL, when it's so quarterback centric, so pass happy, that you let somebody like that walk in a trade. A guy like that leaves via free agency.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta get the prime of him because you drafted him. I don't get it. It is extremely weird. If I'm David, I'm surprised David Carr has been as quiet as he has been.
I know,
because at the end of the day, you're the face of that franchise. As much as Khalil Mack is the face of the franchise from a defensive perspective, David Carr is the face of that franchise. And he, I think, needs to speak out on this. And I think that he needs to have a sit down with John. And they need to hash this out and be like, hey, man, I don't care what it is. Y'all need to bring this guy back. Because if I was David Carr and they trade Khalil Mack, I'd be like, you can trade me next because I ain't staying here. And that's so weird for me to say that a quarterback would want to be traded because his defensive star is traded.
Right.
But that's how you build, because Oakland was at the bottom of the bottom. And they got their quarterback and they got the defensive ace, their defensive captain. Didn't they get drafted in the same year? Or was it like back-to-back years? Or was it the same guy?
Like back-to-back.
Back-to-back years. How often are you able to do something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Establish the foundation for your offense and your defense in back-to-back years. This is super weird. This is reminiscent of the Al Davis Oakland Raiders, and not in a good way.
Well, when you have a 10-year contract, you can do stuff like this. But when you have
but when
you have a 10-year contract, you will want to kind of start out on the right foot by winning. And you definitely know that you need defense to win in this NFL. And a guy like him of his caliber, and they're saying that, there was a theory going around that they were waiting for Aaron Donald, which is another weird one, that he hasn't been signed yet. And I think it's it's the structure of his contract, because I think he wants his money on the back end and not the front end, which makes sense because that's when you have a couple of years left, in the NFL. So he wants that type of security. But, for Gruden Gruden's tenure in Oakland has already been weird. You get into it with the punter of all people and say he's too flashy, and you cut him, and then this happens. And David Carr, David or Derek? It's David, right?
David
right? Loves.
Is it Derek?
Yeah, quarterback.
Was David the Houston quarterback?
You thinking of Derek Carr?
No. Who's the Oakland quarterback now?
Carr, his brother.
But which Carr, B?
I'm about to tell you now. Let's fact check here on Dan Sports.
Is it? I don't know. It's D Carr. Okay, it's D Carr.
Yeah, but
I got y'all coming. Go ahead. Ken.
But
Derek Carr.
So Derek, okay.
Derek.
But yeah, I'm just reading here on Pro Football Talk. It says that Gruden publicly is vowing to get Mac back, but I don't think they have the money. I think they just don't have the money to sign him to a long-term deal is what it looks like it's saying here. So they may have to trade him. And I think that's why
franchise. You have the option to when you draft a player, and even if you don't have the salary cap or whatever, you can franchise somebody, and that'll buy you a year to cut or trade or get rid of the people you need to get rid of, so that way you can find your defensive star. So where there's a will, there's a way. Ken, in professional sports, where there's talent, you can sign. I
agree. I just don't think they value Mac the way that everyone else.
And that's where they're absolutely 1,000% off their rocker. How do you not? Like, in this era of football, if you don't have a pass rusher, at least one, it's a wrap for you. It's a wrap. Imagine playing Tom Brady and you don't have a pass rusher. He's going to pick you apart. Drew Brees with no wide receivers is going to pick you apart. Matt Ryan with the most offensive weapons in the NFL is going to pick you apart. They're going to score 40 on you. Russell Wilson with really no true weapons, because I can't even call Graham a real weapon because he's been lackluster since he's been with Seattle.
He really has been.
But Russell Wilson will pick you apart with nobody. Yeah, so not having a pass rusher when you have a top 3 pass rusher, like, come on, man, you gotta sign him.
Yeah, and that's the thing when you got guys like him that can, because it's not guys like this don't come around very often.
They don't fall off trees, man.
So when you got guys like him, Derek Thomas back in the day, Lawrence Taylor, John Randall,
Reggie White,
you have to pay them.
Let's not forget who are the bookends with the Colts? Dwight Freeney, who was the other one? Mathis.
Yeah.
Think about how overall bad, right, that Colts defense was. But because of those two guys, they gave Peyton the ball more often than not because they were able to sack and they were able to create fumbles.
How did they win? How did the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl? And this guy's not an elite player, but how did they win the Super Bowl? A defensive stop. Yep. A guy got on Brady and made him fumble the ball, and they won the Super Bowl. And it came down to that because they were running up and down the field scoring on each other. But it came down to one play.
You gotta be able to get to the quarterback.
Yep. So this is weird, man.
And let me make a point.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get to the quarterback without sending the whole dang house.
Exactly. Yep.
Because the best quarterbacks, you blitz them, it's a wrap. It's definitely a wrap. So if you can, with your front 4 or maybe 5 guys, get penetration and continue to put pressure on that quarterback, that's how you build a defense. It starts on the line. Even the offense, you know what I'm saying? It starts on the line. It starts in the trenches.
Offensive line, defensive line. They're two of the most important parts of building a football team. Dez Bryant, I know we were texting that Dez Bryant didn't want to visit Cleveland, but now there's a report that he is going to go visit Cleveland. It got me to thinking, though, like, why are you shaking your head?
Because I was right on him, too. And I think that I don't know if Cleveland's going to pick him up, but I don't.
I think they should, though.
Any team that picks him up, I don't think he finishes the year there. I think that's where Dez Bryant is, because I think he's going to overstay his welcome, and I think he's going to be like T.O., where his production no longer meets all of the stuff you got to deal with. It won't.
All of the stuff. How true is all of the things that we think teams are dealing with, though?
Well, let's. There's a stigma, right there. If you're a great wide receiver, for the most part, you're probably going to have diva tendencies, right? Can we all agree Dez Bryant had diva tendencies?
He just wanted to win.
Boy.
He said he just wanted to win.
But he had diva tendencies. I give you that. I give you he wants to win. But he had diva Keyshawn Johnson had diva tendencies.
Give me the damn ball. Yeah. Throw me the damn ball,
exactly.
Whatever it was called.
So every great wide receiver is going to have diva tendencies, but you put up with it because they put up numbers. They make the defense have to adjust. You have to game plan for this guy. We got to throw 2 guys over there, or else he's just going to cook whoever we got, right? Like, that's the reason why you pay these guys. He's no longer that.
Why is he that? Now I hear all the football experts.
The drops.
And
You need to pull up YouTube and pull up a Dez Bryant drop montage because he's getting hit in the numbers.
He's turning into T.O.?
Yes. He can no
Are
longer.
we sure it's not the quarterbacks? Tony, because he got off when Tony Romo was the QB.
Look,
As much as I love Dak,
I put it to you like this: Tony Romo is better than Dak in a sense that he can throw guys open and he can fit stuff more into windows that you didn't think were open or they're just super narrow. Tony Romo will get that there. Dak is more of a, I know where you're gonna be, so I'm gonna throw it where you're gonna be open instead of throwing you open. If that makes
it does,
sense, right? I think that was the biggest difference between the quarterback wide receiver relationship between the two quarterbacks and the same wide receiver. But when you look at some of the drops he's had, it's egregious. It's ugly. Just like Roddy White.
He's on Roddy White's level.
Roddy White, once upon a time when Mike Vick was here, he was nice. Mike Ryan came aboard, he was the guy. And then what happened? He started dropping passes. He was
Roddy was dropping passes before Vic. I think it went the other way around.
No.
He started catching when Matt Ryan got here.
He had
Roddy
the
White.
dropsies.
Yeah, Roddy White. Yeah.
He had the dropsies at first, but it wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
He got better, and then he fell off a cliff.
Then he started dropping the ball again with
in the easy ones. See, I think that's the thing that kills wide receivers is not when you used to make the play where you jump to over 2-3 guys and you make that play and now you can't make that play, but the slants, the comebacks, the outs, you still make those plays.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find a place for you. Look at Larry Fitzgerald. He's still in the league, right?
Yeah.
And do you hear about him? Nah, he just out there getting them
He's a
yards.
different type of dude.
I understand that. But even if he was Dez Bryant diva level, he'd still be in the league somewhere. Guarantee. Why? Because he still catches the ball.
Yep.
Dez Bryant don't catch the ball no more. That's why he's out the league. And I told you he wasn't going to be on no dang team.
You did. He did. Like, this is...
So you really think he's not, when the start of the season comes, he's not going to be on no one's roster?
I don't think so, but even if he is, because there might be a team that gets desperate enough, I don't think he's going to make the whole season. That's just me. I don't think he's going to make the whole, because I think he's going to overstay as well.
I wouldn't mind my Lions picking him up. I wouldn't mind.
Look, it'll take an injury, and even then I still
probably
don't think
injury.
They'll pick him up because...
Why not go to Green Bay?
Nobody wants Derek. Here's what's really happening. I'm gonna tell y'all what's happening.
Go to Cleveland.
Nobody don't see it, but I see it. The problem. This is Colin Kaepernick's fault. The problematic Negroes are and T.O. These teams don't want to deal with problematic Negroes anymore.
Because T.O. stuff in the Hall of Fame, they already trying to put a stop to that. They already saying like you're gonna have to agree to come to the ceremony once, like when you inducted, when you the finalist. You got to agree that you're going to come to the.
They can't do that.
Yeah, but this is NFL.
I know, and this is why they suck, man.
Yeah, that's why NBA is like just surpassing them. Like that's why the NBA is just more and more. What you say, Ken? They the most Googled. Every time you look up, NBA is the most Googled stuff. Everybody searching.
Their searches are high.
Nobody's checking for NFL no more.
Yeah, but they Yeah, it's just it's holding on, but old
they need a new
popularity is holding on to them. And at one point in time, like, look, baseball was king at one point, so I hope the NFL don't think they can't be replaced because they can.
Right.
But yeah, I think we're entering into the problematic Negro era of football where they were like, if y'all show up, look, they were talking about Odell Beckham. Like, they were saying, we don't want to deal with Odell Beckham Jr. anymore. The Giants, they don't want to. Yeah, I think they were talking about, they were trying to trade him.
That talent?
Yes, absolutely.
He was on the trade block for a little bit. But think about why.
Problematic Negro.
But it wasn't just that, though. It wasn't just that. It was about performance.
What performance? Breaking your leg and not being able
playoffs?
What the playoff game?
Wait a minute. Whoa! Okay. But it's everything that happened before that playoff game, too, Ken.
Oh, you one of them, too? You're a boat truther, too?
Talking about when he went to the boat thing?
Yeah, whoa, Ken.
Oh, Ken. Tony Romo, and I did kill him for it, but Tony Romo went on a vacation the week before
You know what, Ken?
He played in the playoff
I don't
game.
care if Michael Jordan stayed up till 6 a.m,
Which he
gambling.
has done.
And what does he do? He had the flu game. There ain't no excuse. You gonna come out here and get this work. It don't matter. When you're at that level of athlete, a superstardom like that, it don't matter what you do. I don't care that Odell went to Miami and partied up with his whole team.
The fact that he stunk it up.
The fact that he stunk it up.
Yep.
You could trace it back to that. Did
Yep.
anybody ever question Michael Jordan's gambling in the prime of his career? Did anybody question anything Michael Jordan did? No. Obviously, social media and all of this, it wasn't the same. But still, we rarely got any headlines.
Man, that would have been interesting if we had something.
Yes,
like
that would be
back in the
crazy.
day.
But we never got headlines. Why? Because Jordan performed. It didn't matter if he was sick. It didn't matter if he stayed up. It didn't matter if him and Juanita got into it. It didn't matter, Ken. He still dropped 30 on your favorite defender. And that's what Odell need to do.
I do not believe the boat had anything to do with his performance on the field.
But Ralph's saying is like because he had a bad game, they're going to tie that.
They
to
are
it.
using that against him.
But if he would have bought out,
then what can
you
they
know
say?
what?
Would have been no argument.
It's okay. Fine. Let's just say that is part of it. Not whether or not it caused it, but the perception of it.
Yes, it's part of it.
So we'll add that. And then you add the video with the white substance.
Right.
And then you add the pissing on the field. And then you had the net incident. Problematic Negro. He's a problematic Negro. They were like, I don't care how good you are. We are not dealing with this foolishness from you guys.
Like we're
you
not
people
we're not going to deal with the
anymore.
Michael Irvins of the world no more. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's
No more.
it's a
We're
different
done.
era.
We want the
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgeralds.
But
we want the AJ Greens.
But let me ask you this, though. As an organization, what other leverage do you have to kind of give them that reality check, right, before the reality check? What else could the Giants have done? Put them on some type of program? That stuff don't work, Ken. We know that
No,
don't
it
work.
doesn't work. I
Right?
agree.
So if I'm the organization and you're my player, and I know you're talented as heck, and you're causing me all of these problems, hey, bro, you on the trading block. Because what does that do for you? It scramble all it is. You got to get that right.
It depends because I know that number one, my game is still my game, so I'm gonna go ball out wherever, and somebody's.
Why didn't you ball off on the playoff game?
Somebody's
then?
gonna pay
Well, we
me.
needed you.
Somebody's going to pay me for
I
my
understand.
game.
I understand all of that, but it ain't gonna be us.
It don't have to be y'all, but
Okay.
when I see y'all though, it
And
will
that's
be
fine.
on y'all.
And that's fine.
That's what's gonna happen.
And regardless, even if you left via free agency, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm your former team. You're supposed to have a chip on your shoulder. I understand that. Trust me, we'll go draft 2-3 corners just for you, bro. Just for you.
Oh, I'll cook them too.
That's cool.
I'll cook them
That's
too.
cool.
They can get
But
this
at the
too.
end of the day,
and I'll piss on them while I'm doing
wow.
it.
But at the end of the day, again, from the organization standpoint, what leverage do I have to hit you, to slap you with a reality check before a real big reality check? How? What else am I going to threaten you with? Because obviously you've pushed me to that edge.
And with Odell being bigger than life, with Odell being basically a NBA type star in the NFL, and his brand and everything he does directly tied to being in New York, yeah, I can see him pausing a little bit when they threaten to get rid of him. Because I don't know if you're a Brown, which, Landry is talking about him, he wants to come there or he'll be willing to play there. Are you still Odell Beckham as a Cleveland Brown? Because in New York and you make plays, they're going to love you.
But honestly, I think Odell Beckham's talent, it don't matter what team he's on, he's going to be Odell.
But will your brand be as big?
Yes.
As a Cleveland Brown, and you're
not
with
okay,
the same record.
Let me clarify my statements. If he was drafted by Cleveland, no. If he goes to Cleveland, yes, because New York did have a part in that. I give you that. I agree there, but it's not all New York.
So it'll transfer.
It'll transfer now because it's established.
And
exactly.
out.
Because his brand is established now. We know what Odell is. I'm saying that if he would have been drafted by Cleveland, he still would have been Odell. Not at this level. New York elevated that. But now that it's here, it ain't going here. It don't matter what team he played for. It's still going to be here as long as he's able to produce. And at the end of the day, the point that I'm really trying to drive home is that champion or Hall of Fame guys that we revere as the best, their name, right? Their brass, their balls is made in the playoffs. It ain't the regular season. What has he done in the playoffs?
He's been once. How many times did he drop the ball? What, once? Twice?
What in that playoff game?
He had 2 drops. He had one on third down, which was crucial, right? If I remember correctly.
Ken, I think he had more than 2 drops, and he was wide open. Ken, we done see this man jump over people, through people, catch the ball on this side of your body here with 3 fingers. Come on, Ken. Come on. That is unacceptable of a guy. Can you imagine if Randy Moss did that? What we would have been saying about Randy Moss?
Yeah, Randy Moss did get off in the playoffs.
Come on, all of the greatest.
T.O. got off.
All of the Jerry Rice. 4 or 5 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. That's how you become legend. The regular season stuff, that's cool. In the social media era, it's always, I can still pull up that first catch that put him on the map. That's cool. But to be a Hall of Famer, to be a true legend of the game, you got to do it in the playoffs. And he had one opportunity. I understand that he hasn't been there multiple times. But what if that's his last opportunity? So, what if he never makes the playoffs again, Ken?
Giants didn't make the playoffs this past year, right?
Nah. Hell no. Everybody was hurt.
So 2017, this was Odell Beckham's stat line in the New York Giants game. 4 receptions for only 28 yards. He was
Randy was getting that like per touchdown.
I mean, it was Eli. What kind of routes were they calling?
Hey, Ken, you need your own podcast called The Apologist.
Yep, 28 yards tied for his second fewest in any game of his career.
Does this show how many drops?
He was targeted 11 times.
4 out of 11.
Yep, 4 out of 11.
For 28 yards.
Yeah, under.
Come on. And for real, no, this is for real. There's a lot of guys that, for any odd reason, they don't make what if he don't make the playoffs no more, Ken?
Which could happen because, Barkley got shut down after that 39-yard run he had.
Mm-hmm. So now he's questionable. So you see why.
He had 3 first-quarter drops in that game.
First quarter, Ken?
He was nervous. It was his first playoff game. What do you expect? I'm just saying.
just looking it up, just doing some fact checking. That's all I'm doing.
I mean, we
dropped the whole game. He had 3 drops the first quarter, Ken. The first quarter, bruh. Like, come on, Ken. Look, we can't make excuses for that because would you agree or disagree? He's great.
No, yeah, Odell can ball, man.
What those numbers tell you?
He had a bad game.
He had a bad game.
But you know what though? Okay, fine. I give you that. He's human. But he can't have a bad game in the playoffs. He can't have a bad game after coming off of that Miami boat trip.
No, I that was a bad look. That was a bad look. I hate that happened because I knew people like you and everybody else.
It's not people like me. You know what, Ken? If this man would have went 11 targets, 9 catches for $125 and a touchdown, hey, bro, when we going back to Miami? What do you mean? It's not a topic of discussion. And I'm not one of those people that directly link it to that. But because you didn't perform, and it's not even about the wins and losses. If he would have had 9 catches, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, and they lost by 40, is anybody going to say anything about that trip? You got to perform. You want to be the superstar. You want to live a superstar lifestyle. You got to perform when the lights are the brightest. And that was the brightest lights of his career up until this point.
That was his moment. He could have put up, but now he got to shut up. So, but either way, problematic Negroes.
You got to be humble.
Watch. We're in the problematic Negro era.
Let me ask y'all, do you think the NFL ever have a black commissioner?
No.
No.
I'm putting my application.